all. This is Padmini Radha Devidasi from Gaithersburg, Maryland. May I know who all have joined the call?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Vandanat Pranam to you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Rupini Padma Devidasi from Orlando, Florida.
Hare Krishna Rupini Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Guru and Gauranga. Thank you for joining the call.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada Guru Maharaj. This is Manidhar Das.
Hare Krishna Manidhar Prabhu, thank you for joining the call. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Guru and Gauranga.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Amritamani Devidasi from Augusta, Georgia. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Deva.
Hare Krishna Amrita Mataji, thank you for joining the call. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Guru and Gauranga.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. My humble obeisances to everyone on the call. This is Premanandini Devidasi from Ashburn, Virginia.
Hare Krishna Premanandini Mataji, thank you for joining the call. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Mataji and Hare Krishna to all devotees. This is Malini from Ashburn, Virginia. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Malini Mataji, thank you for joining the call. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Guru and Gauranga. Anyone else would like to announce the name? Okay, if not, I would like to read the quote for today. This is slightly longer. It is from the Path of Perfection. Yoga means training the mind and senses to be fixed on the self. This is not possible by meditating only 15 minutes a day and then going out and doing whatever the senses dictate. How can the problems of life be solved so cheaply? If we want something precious, we have to pay for it. By the grace of Lord Chaitanya, these payments have been made very easy. Just chant Hare Krishna. By your chanting, this system of control, the yoga system, becomes perfected. Eha haite sarva siddhi haibe tumara. Thus, Lord Chaitanya has blessed us. Simply by chanting Hare Krishna, we will achieve the perfection of self realization. In this age of Kali Yuga, when people are so fallen, other processes will not be successful. This is the only process, and it is easy, sublime, effective, and practical. By it, one can realize oneself. Hare Krishna, everyone. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru and Gauranga. Today, we are very fortunate to get association of Her Grace Jayashree Mataji from West Virginia, and Mataji shall be enlightening us from Srimad Bhagavatam 8.9.4 onwards. Mataji, whenever you're ready, please start the class. And I request Rupini Mataji to start the recording, please.
All right. Good morning, everyone.
Yes, started Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Good morning, everyone. Nice to be back with you. I'm a little disorganized this morning, so my apologies. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Balava Girivaradari Yasodanandana Vrajajana Randana Yamuna Tira Anasari Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo, Nitai Gaur Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parvajakacharyastatir, such as divine grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parvajakacharyastatir, such as divine grace. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Kurti Vaishnava Ki Jai Namacharya. Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Shri Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Sri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Sri Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Maya Ki Jai. Jamuna Maya Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Srimati Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 9, text number 4. Shamarasika, are you there?
Yes, Mataji, I'm gonna read.
You'll
Hare
do it.
Krishna,
Okay, you go
Mataji.
ahead.
Premanandri Mataji will read Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavad Pranam.
Canto 8, Chapter 9, Text 4. Navayam tvamarirdatyai siddha gandharva charanahe nasprushta janimo lokeshaischa kuto nrubihi.
Synonyms. Na, it is not. By the way, thank you so much. Vayam, we. Tva, unto you. Amariya, by the demigods. Aitya, by the demons. Siddha, by the siddhas. Gandharva, by the Gandharvas. Charanahi, by the Charanas. Na, not. Asprita purapam, never enjoyed or touched by anyone. Janama, know exactly. Loka Ishaya, by the various directors of the universe. Cha also. Kuta, what to speak of. Ribihi, by human society. Translation, what to speak of human beings. Even the demigods, the demons, the siddhas, the Gandharvas, the Charanas, and various directors of the universe, the Prajapatis, have never touched you before. It is not that we are unable to understand your identity. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Even the Asuras observed the etiquette that no one should address a married woman with lust. The great analyst Chanaka Pandit says, I'm just going to read the English. One should consider another's wife to be one's mother. The Asuras, the demons, took it for granted that the beautiful young woman Mohini Murti, who had arrived before them, was certainly not married. Therefore, they assumed that no one in the world, including the demigods, the Gandharvas, the Charanas, and the Siddhas, had ever touched her. The demons knew that the young girl was unmarried, and therefore they dared to address her. They supposed that the young girl, Mohini Murti, had come there to find a husband amongst all of those present, the Daityas, the demigods, the Gandharvas, and so on. Om Gyana Timirandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. We're born in the darkness of ignorance, but our spiritual masters kindly opening our eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. So we offer our most humble and respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of such guides and spiritual masters. So good morning, everyone. Happy to be back. I leave for California next week, so this is probably the last time we'll connect for a while. But thank you so much for your association. So here are the demons. Now, these are what the verse says, that these are demons. But I'm surprised how mannerly they are at the same time. I was actually quite amazed that they're speaking to an unattended, beautiful young woman who's obviously extremely attractive, and they're simply asking her questions. Right? They're alone. They're surrounded by other powerful beings, other people like themselves, demons. But no one's attacking her, no one's raping her, no one's trying to take her away for themselves. They're observing a very strict etiquette. So, in an initiation address in 1973, Prabhupada said, yes, demon means he's not a devotee. That is a demon. There are two kinds of persons, one demon and one demigod. Those who are devotees, they are demigods. Those who are not devotees, they are demons. So we think often of the word demon referring to some hideous creature, from the lagoon, some scary monster. But here, Prabhupada's saying that a demon is just someone who's not a devotee. And then I remember when Prabhupada first started, he made a comment one time, and I didn't look it up, but I should have, that there are demons in our movement in the guise of devotees. So it's not that they're just doing hideous things. It's that they really are not devotees at heart. They have maybe the tilak on and the dress, but they don't really believe in Krishna or karma or the rules and regulations of Krishna consciousness. In the Bhagavad Gita 16:6, Asura, Prabhupada says, Asura. Asura means just the opposite number of devotees, that's all. This is the general definition of demons, opposite number. So anyone who is against Krishna consciousness, he is a demon. That's all. This is general. This is, yeah. So we see that the people that are speaking are not devotees, but they're at the same time, they're not acting in a demoniac way, what we would consider a demoniac way, right, towards this girl. They're simply attracted to her, trying to find out who she belongs to, and but they're actually quite respectful. And this day and age, the people that are rude are not necessarily demons, right? They could be a devotee, but the qualities of people in this age are so base that they could actually be a devotee but have a lot of bad qualities. I thought it was interesting, though, that they had such manners towards this young, beautiful girl. They conducted themselves very mannerly. So in the purport, Prabhupada says, even the Asuras observed the etiquette that no one should address a married woman with lust. They knew she was unmarried, so they were respectful, asking her questions. And they were assuming that she was looking for a husband. To me, it's just so foreign that, I mean, many times I listened to several lectures yesterday of Prabhupada, and in several places he was saying how the king gave his daughter in charity, or how this person, the Shakshi Gopal story, the old Brahmin, he was giving his daughter to the young Brahmin. And I was thinking how totally different that is from any way anyone would think now. And possibly in India, there are still people with deep etiquette and daughters that would consider being given away to somebody by their father. I mean, this culture, the only culture I know is the Western culture. I mean, no girl would ever think herself the possession of the father, that he's going to give her away to somebody. Like Prabhupada talked about his mother, that she wouldn't even go next door without being in a palanquin. So no common man would see her. I mean, I feel like just the lowest of mankind. You know, I go out into the world. I don't have my head covered all the time, of course. And I'm talking with, say, I have an appointment with my doctor. I'm talking, laughing. And I had an appointment with someone yesterday, just friendly talk. But even in Prabhupada's youth, I'm sure his mother did not just go see people, she wouldn't even go next door without being in a palanquin, what to speak of go, in very gross terms, shoot the breeze, talk with just any man. I greet all kinds of people just because I want to be friendly. And I think they know, a lot of them know that I'm from the temple. Anyway, times have changed so drastically, and demons have changed so drastically. What we consider a demon today can do very heinous things. Well, Hiranyakasipu, but he was like really a first-class demon. These demons are, I guess, not so aggressive, but they have manners. When the society is made up of many people who are non-believers or demons, or persons that have very little knowledge or faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his desires, Krishna's desires, that the world becomes a better place. So they're not aware. If people that are demoniac, they don't know about God really. They don't care what his desires are. Like we're always trying to please our spiritual master. We know what is the goal, to change the society, to give people spiritual upliftment, to help them go back to Godhead. And these are Krishna's desires and Lord Chaitanya's desires. So our way of thinking is in line with that. But the demoniac person, whether they're handsome or beautiful, if their direction is not in line with pleasing the personality of Godhead and the other devotees, then the goal disrupts the world, right? In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna describes in the divine and demoniac nature, right? He describes the characteristics of a demon. And someone may not have all of these characteristics, but we can see that no matter what someone looks like, they can have these qualities. And we can find these qualities even in our own hearts, right? We still are in the transcendental bath getting cleaned. So we still have some of these qualities. Krishna says pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, and ignorance. These qualities belong to those of a demoniac nature, O son of Pritha. And then in text 7, those who are demoniac do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. Neither cleanliness nor proper behavior nor truth is found in them, right? The creation has rules and regulations. Fire is hot. Water is liquid. It has those kinds of very strict setups. Also, there are very strict rules of etiquette and do's and do nots to be followed in the Lord's creation. Not to kill, not to harm others, not to, you can get very deep into it. Not to say something to somebody that will disturb their mind. One should speak only those things that are dear and truthful, and one shouldn't disturb the minds of others. I mean, there's a lot to it, and a lot of etiquette in dealing with worshiping the Lord. We read the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the Nectar of Devotion, Prabhupada's summary study of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. There's a lot of deep rules and regulations, directions, basically. If we think of rules and regulations, oh, more rules. Who wants a lot of rules? But they're direction. They're directions so we can find our way to actually be able to please Krishna and please the devotees that are actually Krishna's pure devotees. And then they help us in our struggle for existence to, at some point in existence, go back to home, to our peaceful life. So, text 9, following such conclusions, the demoniac who are lost to themselves and who have no intelligence engage in unbeneficial, horrible works meant to destroy the world. Okay, 2 years ago? Was it last year? Last year. There were the fires in the Palisades in California, just miles away from where we lived, my son's house. And it was horrific. This fire started in one area of the Palisades, and there's only one road. This is a wealthy area, not like Beverly Hills, but a wealthy area, well-to-do area in California by Malibu Beach, by the ocean. And the fire was up at the top, and there's only one, I don't know who figured out the road structure for that housing place. There was only one road going down the hill, and there was probably 50 houses up there. So one house caught on fire, and then it just started spreading. And people, there was the fire trucks, there was no water in the reservoir that was supposed to be kept for water for those houses. Somehow or other, the fire chief had been told not to fill that it wasn't necessary. So there, these houses are on fire. There's people in them. They're getting in their car. They're trying to escape. There's one road, and the fire's getting closer. So they're in a line trying to get down the hill. The fire's coming closer, so they freak out. All it takes is one person to freak out, or two people to freak out. And no other cars behind them can go anywhere because they jump out of their car and they run down the hill to get away from the fire. So there's all these houses burning and people just like running down the hill out of their car, all these cars in the way of the fire trucks trying to get up the top of the hill. And the whole beautiful little town of Palisades was burned down. Store that I went to almost every day because I'd take my granddaughter to school was gone. And her school got burned, like a third of it got burned. So they closed the school down. How did it happen? So I just saw recently there was one man who started the fire up at the top. It's like some homeless guy or some begrudged person just started a fire. And it just ruined the lives. And that fire went all the way down to Malibu and took out little restaurants. I mean, Malibu is a pretty nice area. Anyway, just a demoniac quality, demoniac nature, someone who's angry, who's arrogant, someone who's doesn't care. And he was able to engage in an unbeneficial act, horrible works meant to destroy the lives of others. That's one person. So, what to speak of a whole society of people that are misled and have these qualities in their heart? So, what is the solution there? Then you have, anyway, let me read the next one. Text 11 and 12. They believe that to gratify the senses is the prime necessity of human civilization, right? Isn't that exactly? Everyone is thinking, I got to have more of this, more. Look at those clothes. Look at those. Look at this restaurant and look at all these recipes. I can make this. I can make that. I can make 200 things out of cabbage and cheese. And, it's all about gratifying their senses. And they think that that is the prime necessity of human civilization. Thus, until the end of their life, their anxiety is immeasurable, bound by a network of hundreds and thousands of desires. And absorbed in lust and anger, they secure money by illegal means for sense gratification. Now, of course, not all of them are securing money by illegal means. But the interesting thing is, someone can be a devotee. You believe in Krishna, you want to please him, or Jesus, and you want to follow that tradition, or Judaism. The path doesn't matter. You believe in God, you want to please him, but still, you don't realize that your direction for your life is wrong. Here, in Krishna's words, it's demoniac. Now, that's a pretty harsh statement, but still, they believe to gratify the senses is the prime necessity of human life. That means someone has a demoniac way of thinking. Not that he's a big demon and he's going to kill people, but that his direction is wrong. That is not the goal of life, to gratify our senses and the senses of our relatives. The goal of life is to become God conscious, to become Krishna conscious, and to satisfy the senses of Krishna, to please God, not to please me. Not that at Christmas I forget about Jesus. Where do you see Jesus anywhere in the Christmas thing? Oh, there's Santa Claus, there's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, all kinds of little nothings that go nowhere. Just sense gratification. Oh, Santa Claus, look at, he's so funny. But where do you see Jesus? It's Jesus' birthday. It's his appearance day. They should be fasting. And I remember Mother Adhara, who was our seamstress here. She was she was probably 30 years older than me. And she would tell me how it was when she was growing up in Venezuela. Christmas meant that there was a few presents under your bed that Jesus had given you. And it was all, they had Jesus at their table. They would offer their food that way. It had spiritual touch. But that's not what's happening. Even if someone is pious, even if someone is believing in God and Jesus, the direction is wrong. So this is the glory of Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement, right? Who's going to go and preach to people? It's not that easy to just have a one-on-one conversation about God with someone and tell them, hey, your direction is wrong. Going out on the streets, Harinam, Harinam, that's what it says. Is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It's the life of all transcendental knowledge, and it helps us to have a taste for which we're always anxious, right? And book distribution. Prabhupada knew that if people came in contact with his books because of who he is and because of what he's writing, it puts what is the word? It gives a little inkling to that person, even if they just read a little bit of it or talk to someone about the books. It gives them, it's like, I don't want to, this is kind of a negative example, but if you have a gallon of nice fresh milk and you put one drop of certain poisons in it, the whole thing becomes spoiled. So, in the opposite way, if you have people just full of the poison of this atheistic civilization, and you can put one drop of Krishna consciousness into it, at some point it will act, right? We know that. So even if we're not the person that's going to go out and distribute 100 books today, yay, you distribute one book to somebody. Apparently, from what I read years ago, Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj would be extremely pleased with the devotee, even if he distributed one magazine, right? We don't want to be puffed up about what we do, but we certainly don't want to become discouraged with ourselves because then we kind of stifle our own enthusiasm. So Srila Prabhupada's example was refreshing. He wasn't absorbed in his own gain or reputation. Prabhupada was never out in this whole thing for himself. He wasn't trying to gain anything, right? Or reputation. It came about naturally, but it wasn't what he was after. He was always concerned with the reputation and gain for Krishna's pleasure. It was never about him personally. It was always about the great souls and Krishna. The goal of the common man, the conditioned soul, it's all about their own fame, their own wealth, their own prestige, their own control. Even if one's a devotee, he can have tinges of these qualities. So the process we're given is to help us cleanse our hearts and our minds of all the dust that we've accumulated for years. And then when that's done, we can become qualified to serve the Lord, his devotees, and possibly enter into the kingdom of God. It really doesn't matter the course we take in devotional service, as long as the process of devotional service are undertaken, right? We know that there's hearing and chanting, remembering, worshiping, serving the lotus feet. There's different processes. We just had a discussion with my god sister yesterday And she always has a problem getting her rounds done, and has for years always had a problem. And she gets very discouraged. And I was with her yesterday and she was chanting. And I chant like Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna. And she chants Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And I said, if you chant at that speed, it's going to take you 4 hours to finish your rounds. No wonder you're not finishing them. And I said, I think you have to figure out. But she, maybe she's saying the words properly, and maybe that makes it easier for her to hear. So I said, you should figure out whether you want to finish your rounds. If so, then you need to chant faster. Or if you don't want to chant faster, then just take it for granted that you're going to chant 8 rounds. And she said, yeah, that's what usually happens. But she's always disturbed about it. But I don't think, I'm not the judge here. Krishna and the spiritual master are. But, to do as much in the pure way that you can do, and to go on long term, heading towards the goal, I think is more important than becoming discouraged that you can't do this process and then go away. And I've seen people, I've known sincere devotees that are not at all strict in their sadhana, but have done great things and have deep, deep love for Srila Prabhupada. I mean, there's one of Prabhupada's disciples that I know from the early days. And she's really a unique character. She's not someone that I know has ever chanted all the rounds. Never. And she's done some pretty wild things sometimes. But she's sold out to Srila Prabhupada. And he used to write to her almost every week because she did some great, great things for our movement. And Prabhupada loved her. So I wouldn't say that someone who's been and she never got up early for the morning program. Never. Maybe she came to Guru Puja. But things weren't like they are now. It's not like we had deities or anything. We had a picture of Gaura Tai on an altar. And of course, a picture of Prabhupada. We didn't have big garlands and flowers. We had a few flowers. We didn't have mridungas and harmoniums and kartals. We had jingle bells, the whole kind you hold in your hand with a few bells on the end. We had maracas, the wooden clickers that the Spanish people use. We had sticks like kindergartners use in school to play music. They hit the sticks together. And we had tambourines. A tambourine is round and it's got jingling things on it. That was our kirtan. That was all we had. And one day, maybe 7 years ago, when I was in LA, this kind of cynical godbrother of mine came up to me. Our youth, our ISKCON youth, you listen to their kirtans, there's all this different kind of singing than we ever did, or than Prabhupada did. Singing and changing voices, just all this. Ah. Anyway, this godbrother came up to me in LA and he was trying to criticize the youth, which nobody does with me because I won't have it. And he said, Don't you think it was so much better how we did things? We propagated Krishna consciousness way back when. I wish they would do it the way we did it. And I looked at him and I said, oh, the way we did it, how we propagated Krishna consciousness. I said, well, I remember that we had jingle bells, we had tambourines, we had maracas, and what are those things the Mexicans hold? They have a little stick and then they have a bulb on the top with some kind of a gourd, and they shake. Chick, 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 chick. That's what we had. I said, oh, you mean that? You think they should go back to that? I kind of shut him down. Maybe not exactly the etiquette of a shy woman. Anyway, um, yeah, he didn't continue. But we Krishna empowered what we were doing somehow or other. And finally, Madungas and such came along. So there was another, oh, and there was another devotee that totally fell down. And they were, and in the day with Srila Prabhupada, one of those original people, a prominent devotee, but anyone can fall down. They fell down drastically. I won't even go over what they did. They were gone for like 11 years. But then somehow or other, you know, but once they picked themselves up and they got firmly situated in their service, their whole life became glorious. And they're a very glorified person right now. So Krishna helped them. They had these bad qualities in their heart, and somehow or other they acted on them. And now we still have the bad qualities. Prabhupada said that I remember when a devotee falls down, he can revert back to worse than he was before he met the devotees. But then he's also said to make your failure or your fall down the pillar of your success. In other words, don't give up. If you stumble and fall, just go on with all sincerity. I was thinking that it's interesting how cunning Krishna is. Cunning, the dictionary explanation of the word cunning. Cunning refers to the skill or ability to achieve one's goals through deceit or manipulation, exhibiting cleverness or slyness, particularly in deception or evasion. It can also refer to an action or plan that is clever or crafty, usually associated with or manipulation. Trickery or manipulation, right? Isn't that Krishna? He's very cunning. He wants things to go a certain way in a certain circumstance. So he cleverly creates a circumstance to get his way. Although we hear in many places that he's not he's not partial to his devotees or to anyone. He seems to always act in such a way to better the situation of the people and the general time and to protect his devotees and give his devotees the forefront. And here he's tricking the demons. Knowing their natural inclination, he's made himself appear as a beautiful young girl. And he's going to it in a very unique way. He's trying to get the nectar for the demigods. He doesn't want the demons to become powerful. He wants the demigods to have control. So look at what he's doing. Very naughty. He's very, very naughty, right? In Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, he's As a youth, he's stealing the clothes of the girls. He's going under the water, coming up, spitting water in the face of the Brahmins, pulling their feet so they fall down. And then when he gets found out and someone tells his father, he, smears dirt all over his body and acts as if he's coming from school and he's still dirty. And his father's trying to understand why people are saying that he's doing all this stuff. And he says to my father, I haven't been at the river yet. Look I'm dirty still. I'm just coming from school. I mean, how naughty can one be? So here's Indra, and Indra is just like angry. He's been thwarted. His sacrifice has been usurped basically by Krishna. And all the offerings have gone to Govardhan Hill. So what does Indra do? He's like, okay, I'm angry. Of course, he's not a demon, but I guess he has some qualities. He's just like trying to kill all the inhabitants and throwing down torrents of rain. The Samvartaka cloud is there. So what does Krishna do? Okay, he lifts the hill. And he also became the hill, right? Anior, Krishna was the hill also. And then here's Hiranyaksha, and he's causing the disturbance in the universe, and the earth has fallen into a deluge. So, okay, here comes Krishna. Well, I'll become a boar and lift the earth up. He dives into the water and lifts the earth planet up. And then he fights with the demon as a boar. Quite unique. So in the Christian pastimes, it's not just our tradition. Moses, right? Moses had saved the people from I think they were the Egyptians. I can't remember, the Pharaoh, right? They were used as slaves. And Moses came to save his people. And they finally get away from the Pharaoh who's trying to kill them. And they get to a point, they cross through the waters, they get to a point, and the Lord starts speaking to Moses as a burning bush. And he gives him the 10 Commandments, right? That is really unusual. So for a Christian person to ever criticize that the Lord can appear as a boar or lift a hill or half man, half lion, I guess one should remind them that the Lord appeared as a burning bush and spoke to Moses. If he can do that, why can't he do all the other stuff? So he also became a half man, half lion. Right? Here's Hiranyakasipu. He's like the big demon. He's got all the whole universe of people. They're all afraid. He's got all these rules. He's conquered everybody, even the demigods. And then he's got these benedictions that he's not going to be killed in the day or the night by any man or beast or any weapon. So he's got it made. He's like God almost, he thinks. So Krishna figures it out, works around all the benedictions, and becomes a half man, half lion. Kills him on his lap, kills him with his nails, kills him at the dusk, kills him anyway, right? And on the battlefield, Krishna, he tricked the Kauravas, right? Jayadratha. Arjuna wanted to kill Jayadratha. He'd made a vow to enter fire if he didn't kill Jayadratha. So they're protecting Jayadratha. He's way in the back. They're not allowing Arjuna to get to him because when the sun goes down, Arjuna's finished. They're happy. They want Arjuna to be finished. So they're protecting Jayadratha. So what does Krishna do? He covers the sun right? He covers the sun. So it looks like the sun has gone down. And then Jayadroth comes out and clear sight. Everyone's rejoicing. Okay, Jayadroth, we saved him. The sun has gone down. Arjuna has to enter fire. And what does Krishna tell Arjuna? Kill him. So Jayadroth gets killed, and Krishna lets the sun come out again. The pastimes of Krishna are inconceivable and amazing, even in our own life, right? Sometimes we don't see it, but Krishna has made this Hare Krishna movement, right? But how did he do it? He empowered an old, wait till you get 70 and see what I mean. An elderly gentleman. And he didn't set him up with wealth and, a place to go to. Prabhupada came like a beggar with nothing, absolutely nothing. And Krishna just slowly but surely manifests what we see today through the hands of this elderly gentleman. And who did he have? Did he have a bunch of wealthy people to direct and tell him to build temples? I want it like this. I want it like, no, nothing. There was nothing. No deities, no books, no temples. Can you imagine? Nothing. Go start a temple. Tulsi Das, my god brother who lives here, they went and started a temple with nothing. They had nothing. They had an old car and no money. They had no money for rent. They had to figure it out. I don't remember what he said they did, but there were no books to distribute. There was no, they just figured it out. And they got a little temple started. We used to sell incense on the streets. Can you imagine? You have a small temple that you're renting for, say, 300 a month at the time. You have no income. You have no congregation to give you money. You have to figure out how you're going to pay next month's rent. So someone comes up, oh, well, let's sell incense on the street. So you all go out with little bags with packs of incense and you sell incense one by one and get $1 or 50 cents. And by the end of the month, you have to pay $300 and food. What do you do about food? Okay, you go to the local vegetable markets and you beg. Balabhadra in Hawaii. Of course, Hawaii was much easier because we didn't have to worry about the winter. You go and you beg. Can we have your vegetables that you can't sell, that you're going to throw out? And that's how you eat. It was fun. We had so much fun. But at the same time, it was a concern for management. I wasn't in management then, fortunately. Or you go door to door and try and give people, when we had magazines, give people magazines and collect whatever they will give. Some people would give canned food, canned whatever, vegetables, yuck. But in Hawaii, it was mangoes season, so we'd get boxes and boxes and boxes of mangoes. I remember for years our feasts were just whatever we could beg. Basically, we didn't have money to buy. Maybe we bought rice and beans. But even then, we would get donations of rice from people. We'd give them a magazine, ask them for a quarter, ask them if they can donate something, a bag of rice, anything. And people would give us. We'd go in our saris, which weren't saris. It wasn't like we had all these beautiful, colorful saris like we have now. I'm going to buy from Ganga Prasad. No, this one's not good enough. I need a green one with a blue stripe. No, they were cut pieces of saffron or yellow cotton polyester fabric. That was our sari, right? We didn't have cholis. Whatever shirt there was there. And we didn't really even have tilak. We had something called Fuller's Earth. You can buy it at the pharmacy, and you mix water with it, and it was turned white, and that was our tilak. But somehow or other, Krishna made it work. And here we are. So we want to be careful not to get into the waste of time shopping for all kinds of clothes, foods. I mean, if someone needs to satisfy their senses and needs to eat opulent food, fine. Better than going back to eating unoffered foods at restaurants and stuff like that. But if one doesn't need to, then eating simply, like it says, to satisfy the needs of the body, for the health of the body, not for the palate so much. Or dressing. Here we are in New Vrindavan. We get donations from people of clothes. I mean, sometimes we get a bag with our box, 30 saris, like brand new. Maybe they've been worn once or twice. Silks, cotton, silk, of course, polyester, beautiful clothes. I mean, someone spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars on those clothes. When that money, instead of buying clothes one doesn't need, that you're just going to give away after a few wearings, give the money to a devotee that needs money to survive. Or like there's devotees that are sick, like Pradumna from New Vrindavan. He strong Himalayan devotee. He's been here for probably 30 years, raised his kids here. He went to India to join the yatra we were at Govardhan, and he had a stroke. And his health is so bad they can't get him back. His kids have gone over there, but they have to bring him on a first class ticket. Anyway, they're doing a GoFundMe for. They need $8,000. I think they got 6 of it. But save our money for the real needs, not stuff that is just gonna end up in New Vrindavan's free store. So somehow or other, we've become fortunate. We've hooked up with this movement of Lord Chaitanya, who also was a renunciate, who lived with very little. The Goswamis were renunciates. Prabhupada was a renunciate. We need to become renunciates. Maybe not give up everything, but we need to renounce our extracurricular activities and shopping and spending money. If we have money, push on Krishna consciousness with it. We'll get the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, Lord Chaitanya, Bhakti Siddhanta, Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Prabhupada came at the request of his spiritual master. So we want to go on pushing on this movement however we can and get the blessings of these devotees. Otherwise, we're kind of stuck here. Yeah. All right. So that is it. It is 8:19. And I hope it was beneficial and not boring. All right. Anyone there? Anyone awake?
Hare Krishna Mataji, my Danat Pranam to you.
Hare Krishna.
Ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Firstly, I want to mention that we'll miss your classes because you're leaving. But we'll wait for you to come back.
Yes, I'll let you know. I'm planning to come back earlier this year, but we'll see.
Yeah, and like just that hope is there, you'll come back. So with that'll keep on holding on to us.
Thank you for your encouragement.
Yeah, because I don't know, we start missing devotees, their association, their nature, their talk, their voice. There's so much, this so much love devotees have in the heart, and you're one of them. And so we will definitely miss you, Mataji. But yeah, if you're coming back early, that's joyous for us. Maybe not for someone else. It's always like this: one person gets a joy, the person doesn't. Because wherever you go, you want to stay for longer because you have your children, your family,
Right.
and it's like that. So it's like a dualistic word here. So wonderful class, Mataji. Like, I mean, it's like you were giving an insight towards the end of the class that how difficult and with such tough conditions, like people, the devotees, they kind of continued this movement. And for us at this time, although we are progressing in Kali Yuga, but everything is so conveniently there. We have the tilak with us, Uh,
Yeah.
and I know there was there was a book which about the Russian devotee, something
Oh, salted bread.
salted bread. And I was hearing about that from one Mataji in India. It's so, I mean, it was mesmerizing. It was so, I was almost in tears hearing that, because how they make the beads. I mean, that book makes you realize about how if you don't have beads, your bead bags, books, and like all these things are not there with us, then how difficult it is. Still devotees, like Krishna gave them intelligence how to
Yes.
continue.
Yes. He empowered them. He
Yeah.
empowered them. Otherwise, how could Prabhupada just spoke to this Anatoly? When Prabhupada went to Russia with Shamsundar, they were very restricted as to where they could go and what they could do. And Shamsundar just took a walk, and by chance, by Krishna's arrangement, ran into the Indian, what do they call him? What do you call him? Anyway, his son and this young Russian boy named Anatoly. And Shamsundar took him back to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada preached to Anatoly for like 4 hours. He gave him the whole base of Krishna consciousness personally in 4 hours. And they were going to Russia, and they knew that books, you couldn't have any spiritual literature, otherwise you could be put in prison.
Hmm.
And by mistake, Malati thought, oh, well, I should just put this Bhagavad Gita in their luggage for Shamsundar, not knowing the consequences that could have happened. She put it in. So when they got to the border and, they had to go through customs, they found the Bhagavad Gita somehow or other. I mean, Shamsundar was thinking they were going to go to prison. Prabhupada says that too. I was listening to a class of his.
Hmm.
But they just let it go. And that book is what the whole base of the whole Russian yatra and Prabhupada's preaching to Anatoly. That started the whole revolution in Russia. I mean, it's amazing.
Wow, amazing. Yeah.
You should read the book, The Salted Bread. It
Yeah.
tells you how they started underground, like literally under houses with little, not printing presses, but a mimeograph machine. Remember, they didn't have copy machines years ago. They had something called a mimeograph machine. They would copy one page at a time of the books that they got, like that first book, and then they would like staple it together, sew it together, and that is what they distributed to people. And that's how And a lot of you read that book, Salted Bread. We have it here in New Vrindavan. You can get it online too, in Amazon, I believe.
Yes,
I
I'll
mean,
definitely get it then, yeah.
yeah, many of them went to prison. Some of them died in prison, but they were very empowered by Lord Chaitanya.
So Mataji, even today's date, they cannot take to
No, it's different now.
now.
This is a communist behind the Iron Curtain. This was when Russia was threatening to bomb America. You know, we had like Radhanath Maharaj was telling also, people in this neighborhood had fallout shelters. We used to have, I remember, we used to have drills, air raid drills. And the bell would go off in the school. Everyone would have to scurry under their desk in case the Russians would bomb us. The Russians and the Americans were at a Cold War, and they had the wall, the Great Wall. The Russians couldn't get out. They would be shot. The communists had a very stronghold. And people like Bhaktitirtha Maharaj, Devamrita Swami, Kirti Raj, they were going into Russia, and they were distributing. This is years later. The original one with the Russians, and once the facility was legal enough, they would go in as salesmen, and they would with the KGB. David Mita Swami tells the stories of giving classes in someone's house with all the windows closed. They couldn't have kirtan except with their hands, and having the KGB come to the door and then having to jump out the back window and run. You know, these were dangerous times, but the original ones were the Russians, and it started with Prabhupada going to Russia. And now it's, freedom. Anyone, you can go there, you can distribute books, they have temples, but still there's some problems with the governments, but not like it was. It was death. Death if you got caught.
Amazing, Mataji. This is like so risky, so scary, and still, they continued. I believe even the prisoners who were there in the prison were continuing their everything they were doing, the arti, mangal arti, and
Yeah.
so much. Yeah.
And they made the bead with the bread. They made japa beads. Actually, when I was in Alachua one time, because I used to stay the winter in Alachua, Kirti Raj lives there. And he and his wife and a couple other devotees, I think Mandakini was there also. She's from France. They gave a whole class inside the temple about those days, and they had some of the beads from that time made out of the salted bread. Japa beads from 50 years ago made out of the salted bread. They would moisten the bread and squish it and make beads, japa beads that they could chant on. The book is amazing. I've thought of reading it again, but yeah, some of them died in prison. Yeah, we have no idea. I mean, those people are glorious. I mean, they're amazing. Amazing.
Thank you so much for sharing, Mataji. Because at least, we can. It reminds me of the time when there was COVID, and there was no oxygen available in some parts of India and other places. Then you realize the value of oxygen. So we don't realize the value of or all that we have, the tilak and beads and all. We just take it for granted.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's we really have to understand that this is, we have to really And I think the best understanding is distributing books of Srila Prabhupada. Because what they were basically doing this only with so much of risk factor. I don't think
Yes.
we have any risk factor. We can go to any shop,
Right.
we can stand in the books and distribute. We just have to go out like Vishishika Prabhu Maharaji says, Vishishika Prabhuji, his Grace Vishishika Prabhu says that just go out. That's all you have to do. That is the only thing. And distribute books.
Yeah.
And also Mataji, like in America it is still easy. In India, like it's not so easy for ladies to go out, and there's so much of traffic crowd. But here still we have the freedom. It's much
Yes.
better for us. We're still protected, like we'll just go sit and get out of the car, and and it
Yeah.
is, yeah, it's like it's not so heavily populated. So thank you so much, Mataji, for your class. It was just wonderful. Always hope I can remember all the points. So if anybody has question, comments for Mataji,
Hare,
they can go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Amritamani Devidasi from Augusta, Georgia.
Hello,
How are,
Hare Krishna, Mani.
how are you doing, Mataji?
I'm good, thank you. My health is back again, so I'm doing more and more.
Your talk has been so inspiring that, I used to wonder whenever we visited New Brindavan that how Prabhupada convinced these whites. We are born with Krishna, we don't have that much faith the way I saw over there you guys had. Now I
Right.
see, it was his miracle, and also you guys' dedication and the faith in Prabhupada. You know,
Yeah.
um, so much austerity, Hats off to you guys, Mataji. It's really wonderful and it's really inspiring. I hope, I can develop, cultivate that kind of faith in Krishna and Prabhupada.
The funny thing is I don't remember ever thinking that we were poor or without anything. I don't ever remember yearning for anything. I always was totally satisfied. I mean, empowered means actually empowered. I mean, it was really fun. I don't remember ever thinking, oh God, when am I going to be able to eat a sandwich or be able to? It was just, it was so glorious. Krishna was manifesting. And it was just, you were just caught up in this bubble of Krishna consciousness. And sometimes when I think back on it, I it, I remember one time in San Francisco, they sent me up from LA, right, to be the head pujari in San Francisco. Now that sounds like a glorious, oh, the head pujari. They came to pick me up. Jayananda came to pick me up with Sridhar Brahmachari, who later became Sridhar Maharaj, in a hearse. That was the vehicle they had. And the hearse only had two seats. And then there was the back of the hearse, which of course I didn't realize at the time that it was a hearse, where they, what a hearse is, they carry the body of people in their casket to the cemetery and take the casket out and put it in the ground. So the back of the hearse is just like an open space where they would carry the bodies in caskets. So they had no room for me, of course, in the front, and there were no other seats. So my trip from LA to San Francisco, which is, quite a ways, was laying down in the back of the hearse. But I never, and then when we got to the temple, um, the rooms, it was laid out in a certain way. And I found out later, I didn't know at the time, that it was a funeral home, a big funeral home. And they had these little rooms up on the second floor. And I was given this one small, really small room. And it wasn't like a painted room, it was just like a dingy I never even thought, I mean, I'm not from a poor family. My father was the manager down in Bradstreet. You know, I drove a sports car and we had a Cadillac, new Cadillac every year. I wasn't poor.
Mhm.
But then I found out later that that was the embalming room where they, you know, it's like it was a funeral home. We had an elevator that went from the kitchen down to the basement where the cars would come in. And actually, it was the elevator that brought the body down from the embalming room
Mhm.
down to put it in the hearse, in the casket, to take it to be buried. But for us, it was the elevator that took us from the deity kitchen down to the temple, down to where the deity is, the altar. So for it's like we didn't. It just nothing seemed to disturb. It
Wow.
it was yeah. It wasn't like you were. Oh, I'm performing this austerity. I got to really just perform this austerity. It wasn't. It had a whole different atmosphere somehow or other. Krishna and Prabhupada, it was just empowered to
Please
do
bless, please
that.
bless me, Mataji, with so I can cultivate this kind of dedication and sincerity.
Yeah, it's Krishna and Prabhupada's blessings you need. I'm just like a little puppet trying to, okay, I'm trying to move this way and that way. Anyway,
Thank
I'm
you so much.
Hare Krishna. I'm probably the one that needs the blessings. I mean, I know
Hare
I have
Krishna,
blessings, but thank
Hare
you.
Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna, everyone, and all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for such an nectarian class. Mataji, it's always wonderful listening to you and all the realizations and experiences that you share. And like Mataji said, like we should get inspired and blessed to have heart like you all. So without like Prabhupada was blessed to have you all here to help him and bring this movement up. So thank you so much for Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. You're very welcome for my little addition to Krishna consciousness. All right, everyone. Anyone else? Because I need to go.
Yeah, anybody has any question, comments? Otherwise, we'll end the call and we'll pray one time the Mahamantra for Mataji because she's on a journey, so safe journey, and we miss her, and also thanking her for her association, regular association, all the while when she's there in the eastern coast. So we can all chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra one time. Hare Krishna,
Hare
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 Krishna,
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 Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
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 Hare
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 Hare,
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 Hare
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 Rama,
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 Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
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 Rama,
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 Hare
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 Hare.
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 All glories to the assembled devotees.
Thank
Hare
you, Mataji. And
Krishna.
please
Thank you,
keep us,
Mataji.
you're so senior, Mataji, please keep us in your prayers because you're so dearly connected to Srila Prabhupada and you've seen Prabhupada. So please keep us all in our prayers. So we offer our prayers to all the devotees on the call today.
Vancha
Prabhupada,
kalpatarusya kripa sindhubhyo
Patitanam,
nam Vaishnavibhyo
Namo Namah.
Ananta Koti Vaishnava
Vrind ki
Jai.
jai. Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Jai Hari Bol.
Har
Praise
Praise
ki
Jai Shri
Jai
Mataji
Shri
ki
Mataji
Jai.
ki jai.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you,
Pranam
everyone.
Mataji. Hari
Thank you,
Hare
Krishna.
Mataji. Have a
Krishna.
Hare
safe
Krishna.
Until
journey.
next time, Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Mataji. I'll be in touch, Mataji.
Okay, sounds good. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol.
Hare
Hari bol,
Bol.
hari bol,
Hari Bol.
hari bol.